Video game to movie adaptations don't always have the best track record, but not to worry, this one came out on streaming a day before its theatrical release, and also its review embargo lasted up until the day of its release, so good signs. Hey everyone, I'm the guy with no name. Thanks for stopping by my channel. If you don't know who I am, I talk about movies, TV shows, video games, basically anything that I find interesting that I think you'll find interesting too. Anyways, let's get into Five Nights at Freddy's. So if you didn't know, Five Nights at Freddy's is based on the popular video game franchise of the same name, whose first installment released back in 2014. To be fully transparent, I haven't played any of the video games, although I was definitely aware of them and have watched videos here and there on gameplay and stuff like that. As far as the movie goes, the story centers around the character of Mike Schmidt, a security guard who can't seem to hold a job, partially due to some childhood trauma, and then also due to just how stressed out he is being the sole guardian and provider of his younger sister. Due to his desperation, he takes the night security gig at an abandoned family pizza place called Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. During his shift, he realizes that there's something eerie and haunted about the place, especially having to do with the large animatronic figures who inhabit the building. Five Nights at Freddy's is directed by Emma Tammy, and it is worth noting that Scott Cawthon, the creator of the games, was involved in the story and screenplay. The film stars Josh Hutcherson as Mike Schmidt, Elizabeth Lail as Vanessa Monroe, the police officer whose normal route includes Freddy's and who seems to know a lot about its history, Piper Rubio as Abby, Mike's younger sister, and Matthew Lillard as Steve Raglan, Mike's career counselor who informs him of the job opening. Speaking of the cast, I feel like everyone did a really good job in this. So, do you guys have an actor or actress who, for one reason or another, just every time you see them in something, they kind of get on your nerves or annoy you? For whatever reason, Josh Hutcherson has been like that with me. Just pretty much everything I see him in, I just kind of find him to be annoying. And really, if I'm being honest, it's more probably a me problem than any problem with him. It's not like he's doing something wrong. Although, I was thinking about some of the roles that I know him from, and The Hunger Games, I will say, he was pretty annoying, and it's just because his character was a little too whiny for my taste anyways. But that's more, once again, that's more of a problem with his character versus his acting. So it's not really fair to attribute it to him. But anyways, seeing him in this, I actually loved him in it. And despite all of that, I mean, I thought he did a great job. He really put his all into it, and I really felt for the character. Also, I don't know if you're like me, but you know, I saw the live-action Scooby-Doo movies when they came out, and I was much younger. So ever since then, seeing Matthew Lillard in anything is just nostalgic, and the more roles he's in, the merrier for me. To say I went into the movie with low expectations is an understatement, to be sure. I knew that there was some behind-the-scenes drama with the movie. They had a hard time even getting it made, actually. There were a lot of people who were involved that had to exit for one reason or another. And then the reasons I mentioned at the beginning of the video, it was going straight to streaming. The review embargo was really, you know, the same day of its release. And in fact, I didn't mention this, but like a week or two ago, the review embargo wasn't going to lift until the day after it came out, which to me, I've never heard of that before. That's insane that a movie could come out and they won't even let people, you know, talk about, like, review it until the day after. That just showed me, okay, this is gonna be terrible. And on top of that, I was just, you know, looking on my phone before the movie started, and I noticed, and I saw it yesterday night, by the way, and I noticed that they the Rotten Tomatoes score was like 30%. I think now it's at 20% or something like that. So I was like, this is gonna be terrible. I'm gonna hate it. But hey, you know, talking about terrible movies isn't all that bad. It's fun to talk about things that makes no sense. But I mean, I was going through the movie 15 minutes in, 30 minutes in, and each step of the way I kept thinking to myself, I was like, this is actually not that bad. I was pleasantly surprised, honestly. And overall, I could say that I did enjoy it. It wasn't great. I didn't love it. I'm not gonna buy the movie. I'm not gonna I'm probably not going to even watch it again, but I'm not disappointed that I saw it at the theater. I don't know, I mean, I thought one of the strongest things was the character's backstory, Mike's backstory. I know that some of the complaints were just too long, and I actually understand that complaint. I think some of the scenes could have been trimmed down for sure, but I just really felt for him that the stuff that he went through, how I'm a father, and to imagine how hard it would be to be a single parent, or even, heck, not even a parent, just, you know, having to be the guardian of my younger sibling, that'd be really hard. There's a lot of stress involved, so I definitely understood where he was coming from, and it really got me invested in the overall story as well. Yes, it wasn't as scary as it should have been, I don't think. I think that's a valid complaint. I personally, I didn't need it to be more gruesome, but sure, it could have been scarier, I think. I could see how some people would leave the theater being let down by that. I think that my biggest complaint was it's a really good slow burn, but unfortunately the payoff's just not that great, which is kind of the whole point of the slow burn. You know, it feels like it's building up and you're like, oh man, for me, I was like, this is going to be good, it's going to pay off, and it's to me, it's just a slow burn. Like, some people don't like that. I'm a fan of that, but the climax was the weakest part to me. I just thought it was very underwhelming, so that was a bummer. That's my main complaint. That's the main reason why I didn't, you know, love it, or I wouldn't want to watch it again, probably. It does set up a sequel, which is interesting. I'm not sure if there will be a sequel or not, because yes, the reviews have been bad, but it is Blumhouse, so I looked up the budget, and apparently it was around $20 million. I don't know if that includes marketing, but still, that's a low number. I took a peek at the box office, and it's not insane to think that it might make money, like break even and then make profit. So if it makes a profit, I wouldn't be opposed to a sequel. I think that if they just approached it in the right way and tried to take the criticisms and make a movie that's more appealing to a broad audience, as opposed to people like me who came out of the theater saying, well, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. But, you know, we'll see. So when I was thinking about who this movie is for exactly, my first thought was, I really don't know if fans of the video games are going to like it or not. I kind of feel like there's gonna be two different factions within fans. There's gonna be one group of fans that they're okay with the changes as long as the overall story is there, and I would say, with my limited knowledge of the games, that the overall story is there and is intact. And then also there are lots of references, Easter eggs, cameos that they would appreciate. There were some I caught, but I'm sure there's a lot that went over my head that fans might appreciate and be, you know, might enhance their enjoyment of the movie. Then on the other hand, you got the other group of fans who didn't appreciate the changes and probably feel like that they butchered their favorite video game. So, kind of hard to say, but I guess you can kind of figure out which camp you might likely fall into and maybe do some research beforehand to see if it's worth it. And as far as kids go, so the movie's rated PG-13. It is gruesome. I will say most of the gruesome stuff, they cut away at the very last second, or it's like maybe a shadow or silhouette or something along those lines. So keep that in mind, that while it doesn't show you, you know what's happening. So I think PG-13, 13 and up is a good age probably. You would know if you're gonna take your kid to this, you know your kid best. I wouldn't want to traumatize my kid, so you might want to do some research beforehand, but I'd say 13 and up is a good age range. But anyways, I appreciate you guys watching this video. Check out my other stuff, check out the suggested videos on here, and if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. I'll see you all in the next one.